Okay, guys, for today, you're going to work on a function transformation activity similar to what we did towards the end of unit 2, towards the end of our last unit. This time, though, we are only focusing on those linear functions, okay? So what I want to walk through with you is just sort of a refresher of some of those transformations that we saw last time. So here we have our parent graph, y equals x. Notice we have that sort of center point through the origin, right, at 0, 0. So as I talk about these transformations, I'm going to talk about moving this 0, 0 point, and then I'm also going to talk about slope. So our slope here is, I'll go from this point to this point since this one's hidden, is up 1 and over 1. Okay, so as we talk about stretches or compresses, what we're going to talk about is modifying that slope, changing that slope somehow. So let's take a look at our first example here. So remember, for our functions, any changes we make here will stretch or compress. If it's negative, that will flip. So any of those changes we will see with our number in front of x. Okay. Anything that we do to x inside parentheses is going to move us left or right. And then anything we do here at the end is going to move us up or down. Okay, and again, we talked about this in unit 2 in our last unit. So flip back open those notes if you need the reference. So as we take a look at a couple of examples here. For A, we're going to look at how we've changed this parent function. So we've got 1/2 x minus 2 plus 4. So this 1/2 is going to be our new slope, right? That's going to compress. If it's less than 1, it's going to compress. It means our slope will now be 1/2. So our slope equals 1/2. Instead of 1, it's going to be 1/2. And then this minus 2 here is going to talk about moving left or right. So what's going to happen here, since I've got x minus 2, that's going to move me to the right 2 spots. And then my plus 4 at the end is going to move me up 4 spots. So if I were to graph this function, I'm just going to graph it right on here. That point 0, 0, I'm going to move to the right 2, and then up 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So instead of that sort of key point at 0, 0, I've moved that key point right 2 and up 4. And then to get the rest of my points, I'm going to use 1/2 as my slope instead of 1 over 1. So up 1 over 2 would give me my slope. And I could, again, get it backwards by going down 1 and back 2. But that would be my slope. Okay. So we talk about compressing. We talked about compressing in unit 2. Now we're looking at a change in slope. Okay. So this would be example A. And I'll change color so that we can take a look at example B. Now for example B, I've got a 2 in front. So that's going to stretch. That's what we talked about in our last unit, in unit 2. If that number in front is bigger than 1, then it's going to stretch or sort of steepen our slope. It means that our slope now is going to be 2, or 2 over 1. And that negative in front means we're going to flip. So instead of having a positive slope, we're going to flip this, reflect it across the x-axis, and we're going to actually see a negative slope here. Okay, so when we talk about slope, we're accustomed to dealing with negative slope. So we're going to think of this as a -2 slope. And then this plus 1 in parentheses with x is going to move us to the left 1. So that point 0, 0, we're going to move to the left 1. And then we're going to flip it and use 2 as our slope. So -2 as our slope. So down 2, forward 1, down 2, forward 1. And then we're out of space. I'm going to go up 2 and back 1 just to get one more point here. But there would be our line for B. Okay, so there's B. We shifted our points and then we stretched it and flipped it, right? We adjusted that slope. If we take a look at C, that negative in front means we're going to flip this, or it means our slope will be negative 1 over 1. We're not stretching or compressing at all, but we are flipping. And then this plus 4 at the end means we're going to go up 4. We're going to move that key point up 4 spots. So instead of 0, 0, I'm going to go up 1, 2, 3, 4 for my key point. And then to flip this, I'm going to keep the same slope, but it'll be negative this time. So down 1, forward 1, down 1, forward 1, down 1, forward 1, down 1, forward 1. So there's my negative slope. There's my line, my graph for C. For the last graph that I have here, we just have a description. So I'm going to actually write the function as we go through here. It says stretch by a factor of 4. So that means I'm going to have a 4 in front, y equals 4 times, and then shifted down 3. So I'm not doing anything to x, so 4 times x. And then to move it down 3, we're going to subtract 3 at the end. So from my key point, I'm going to move down 3, 1, 2, 3. And then that stretch by 4 means that my slope now will be 4 over 1. So up 1, 2, 3, 4 over 1. Up 1, 2, 3, 4 over 1. So very steep line for this last one. Okay, and there's my graph for D. So what you guys are going to do now is take a look at your graphs page. Okay, you've got graphs on here, and your key point is bolded for you, so you can see what those transformations are. I can see from 0, 0. I've moved this one on C 1, 2, 3 to the right, and then up 2. I can see I've moved this one just up 2, and then you can count your slope. Right, so my slope here would be I'm like flipped, and I'm going down 1, forward 1. My slope on G here, I would go up 1 and forward 2 to get to the next nice point. So use your bolded key point and that slope to match your graphs to the equations you have listed and or the descriptions you have, and fill in those blank spots, just like we did on that transformations practice with Unit 2. So once you finish page 88, I would also like you to try page 89. Same idea, but this time you're going to sketch the graph for me. And then try page 90 as well. This time you have a description, how we're going to change something, and a function. Okay, and you're going to tell me how this description is telling me to change that function and give me that new equation. So that's what I want you guys to work on. Pages 88, 89, and 90.